Hello everybody. Yesterday in our live stream we did the 3 legendary missions on the Division 2 and we switched the global event on. Currently we've got the global event reanimated live and we thought it'd be fun to turn this on and try the 3 legendary missions. We were successful, it was a lot of fun, and a lot of people are asking for the build that I was using. And it is a build I've released on the channel before, I did say this, but we said we'd do another video today highlighting the build and how good it is for legendary play. Now we're by no means like legendary speedrunners or anything like that, but we do complete legendaries comfortable, and this build is absolutely fantastic for legendaries in group play. I really enjoy it, especially the strategies that we use. We always go in with a healer, a skill build, maybe a crowd control or a couple of DPS, and that's how we roll with the legendaries. And this build kind of classes as a skill and DPS build, as it is a skill hybrid mixed with DPS. It's a very, very good build, not just for legendaries as well. This is great for solo play, it's great for directive play if you want to play the summit with directives or the open world with directives. This build will suit you absolutely fine. So that's what this video is today. Just showing you a quick clip on screen now of District Union Arena, but we did all 3 legendaries, and I will show you the stats that this build did on all 3 of those before we get into the build also. But before we do get going, please do support the video with a like and a share. I'd really appreciate it. If you're not subbed to the channel, click subscribe for more content from myself. But most importantly, the most important part of this plug is that we have a great community. We're nearly at 25,000 members. When you're done with this video today, come and check us out if you're not in there. It's linked at the top of the video description. So we're going to quickly take a look at the stats, as I said, from the 3 legendary missions yesterday. District Union Arena we did in 55 minutes. It's not the quickest time at all. We normally get around 40 minutes, but we never ran together as a team, so it was quite a good time, to be fair, for the first time running. We ran this with 2 skill builds. As I said, we had one... no, I think we ran this with 3 skill builds. We had 1 healer. That's how we ran this one, which is why it's probably a little bit slower. But you can see there, with this build that I was using, my skill hybrid, I had 155 kills, which was much more than any of the other skill builds. I was able to do DPS as well, where they were just stuck to skill. And on Roosevelt Island, it outshined even more with 179 kills. This one took us about an hour. Again, fresh team doing legendaries with, but we smashed it first time. But 179 kills. And I think this one, we did 2 skill and 1 DPS with a healer. And then on Capital Building, it outperformed with 142 of the kills. You do a ton of damage. Now, obviously, I haven't brought up like the full stats here, but if you have a look at the stats as well, the mix between skill damage and weapon damage is quite on point with each other. Sometimes you do more skill than you do weapon, but they're both putting out a lot of damage, whether it's your weapons or your skills. And the build looks like this. We're starting off the specialization, and you're going to want to throw the technician specialization on there. The reason for this is that it gives you an extra skill tier, and what that does, it enables me to get to 5 skill tiers on this build. It's not a 6 skill tier build, but 5 skill tiers is enough. And as we've already mentioned, it's got plenty of weapon damage on there too. I'll take a look at that as we go. The gun, as in the primary gun you want to use, is the capacitor. The reason we're using this is because of the talent capacitance, where shooting enemies will build a stack to a cap of 40, and each stack grants 1.5% skill damage. After 5 seconds, the stacks will decay at 1 per second, but for each skill tier, you're gaining an extra 7.5% weapon damage. So with all, with the 5 skill tiers that I've got there on the build, 5 times 7.5, it's a nice amount of weapon damage. Add into the 2 red cores on there as well, and the total damage on there is 104.2k. It's not super high, but we got high skill damage output as well. The secondary that I run on this build is a classic M1A. It's got rifle damage, crit damage, damage target out of cover, needs optimizing, but the talent is important, and that's in sync, where hitting an enemy will grant 15% skill damage for 5 seconds, and using a non-shield skill or damaging an enemy with a skill grants 15% damage for 5 seconds. The damage increases are doubled when both buffs are active at the same time. So this is good to use. So whether you're going to be using the M1A at range or the capacitor at close range, you're buffing your skill damage with both of them. And with the M1A, you're buffing your weapon damage as well. The sidearm really doesn't matter. I just got the TDI card custom in place, and I've got the EMP grenade, which you could use against dogs or whatever in legendaries. But the build looks like this, and you can do it a little bit different if you want. Like, I know some people might want the extra skill tier, they might not want the waveform holster, and you can switch it up up how you want. I always thought maybe running a coyote mask on this build as well would work great, but this is what I've gone with for now, and I've kept it like this ever since I've made the build. We go with a wyvern mask, and it's got to be all reds on this, so crit chance and crit damage. I roll rep and damage on it. I get skill damage for the one-piece wyvern, and we throw a crit damage mod on there. The chest piece is a Grupo chest piece with glass cannon on it. Crit chance, crit damage again, crit damage mod, and weapon damage is the core attribute. You can see it's not even optimized yet. This build can be even better once I fully optimize it. The one piece Grupo is giving me 15% crit hit damage as well. We've got the waveform holster with skill tier, skill damage, skill haste, and the alternating current. So that's generating a stack of 3% skill damage on one of my skills every second, capping at 10 stacks. And after 10 seconds at the cap, the stack transfers to the other skill. The process then repeats itself continuously. So it's a good piece for this build. As I said though at the start there, you can edit this build how you want. If you don't want the waveform, you can bring in the coyote mask. You can have this build how you want really, but I went with the waveform. In season 10, I'm actually thinking about taking this out for the new named holster that's coming in that gives us 20% weapon damage, and we can have a skill tier as well. I feel that would make this build even better, but until season 10, I'm going to keep it like this. And then to finish the build off, I have 3-piece Empress International on the backpack, the gloves, and the knee pads. So that's proccing skill health, skill damage, and skill efficiency. And every single one of those pieces has got crit chance and crit damage rolled onto them, and they've all got skill tier on it with a crit damage mod on the backpack. The talent that I'm using on the backpack is combined arms, so shooting an enemy increases total skill damage by 25% for 3 seconds. I'm continuously shooting enemies, so really I've always got that 25% damage buff on my skills, and it works very well. And the skills that you want to run is up to you. I go with an assault turret and a striker drone. So we've got the turret and the drone there. You can mix these up if you want. But it's such a good hybrid build. If we have a look at the stats, you can see that my critical hit chance is 44.9%. It's not capped out, but it's good enough. And my critical hit damage is 181.1%. I'm hitting some great numbers with my weapons, and my skill damage is up there as well. It's such a good build. I really enjoy it. Now, what I initially thought when I made this build, which wasn't the case, I thought the crits would count for the skills as well. Unfortunately, they don't. This build would be insane if they did. So unfortunately, the crits don't count with your skills. But your skills are doing a lot of damage, and your crits do help with your weapon damage for sure. So you're critting quite often, and you're hitting some very, very tasty numbers. And that is what the build looks like. And that's the build that I was using throughout the whole of yesterday's stream. So let me know what you think of this build. When I was making this build a couple of months ago on stream, you all helped me, and you all saying how good critical hit hybrid skill build was, and I really did fall in love with it right away when I made it. We've used it a lot, not just for legendaries. It is kind of my go-to legendary build right now, but also I use it, like I said earlier, for like open world activities with directives on, or even the summit with directives on. It's a very good build for that as well. And it's great for solo heroic play too, which is really good. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the video comments. How would you adjust this build, especially with season 10 in mind, with the new gear coming in? Like I already mentioned, that named holster that's coming, I think would do great on this build. But yeah, interested in your feedback on the build, because I'm looking to improve builds all of the time. But I said I'd share this with you today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, please do hit like and share to support the video. Subscribe if you're new here. But most importantly, now we are done, come and check out our community. It's linked at the top of the video description. Until next time, thank you for watching this one. Stay safe and peace out.